The ice-cold shock you force yourself into for a metabolic surge or faster muscle gains? It's not just doing nothing, it's actively sabotaging your body's most crucial adaptations. You're trading meaningful physiological progress for a temporary, often counterproductive jolt. Today, we're dissecting the very mechanisms by which acute cold exposure, like the kind from a bracing cold shower or a full ice bath, interacts with your body's sophisticated systems, specifically targeting two widespread myths: its supposed power for calorie burning and its touted benefits for post-workout muscle growth. You'll discover why the simple act of shivering is a far cry from an effective metabolic stimulant, and how an immediate cold plunge might be undoing the hard work you just put in at the gym. Think about it. The human experience of cold is primal. You step into that frigid stream or turn the shower handle all the way to blue, and your body's immediate response is undeniable. Your breath catches, your skin prickles, and then the shivering begins. This involuntary tremor feels like an intense physical effort, right? Like your body is working overtime, burning through reserves, desperately trying to warm itself up. And intuitively, it makes sense to assume this flurry of activity translates into a significant calorie expenditure, a powerful metabolic boost. But the science paints a far more nuanced picture, one that reveals a surprising metabolic dead end. Shivering, while certainly a thermal response, is actually a remarkably inefficient way to burn calories. It's akin to a car engine revving intensely in neutral. Lots of noise and vibration, but minimal forward motion or fuel consumption compared to actually driving somewhere. Consider the meticulous work of researchers like Dr. Frank van der Putten and his team, who published their findings in the journal PLOS ONE back in 2015. Their studies, and others like them, meticulously track the energy expenditure during various activities, including controlled cold exposure that induces shivering. What they consistently reveal is that while shivering does burn calories, the actual amount is surprisingly small. A 5-minute bout of intense shivering, which feels utterly exhausting, might only consume the equivalent of an additional 10 to 15 calories, sometimes even less. That's a fraction of what you'd expend during a gentle 5-minute walk, let alone a brisk run. It's not the robust furnace you might imagine. It's more like a tiny pilot light struggling against a gale. Your body has two primary ways to generate heat: shivering thermogenesis and non-shivering thermogenesis. Shivering is muscle contraction, rapidly firing to create heat. Non-shivering thermogenesis, on the other hand, primarily involves brown adipose tissue, brown fat. Brown fat, unlike white fat that stores energy, is specialized to burn fat and glucose to produce heat directly, without muscle contraction. This is the truly metabolically active component, the one that can genuinely elevate your baseline energy expenditure. But here's the crucial distinction. Acute, intense cold exposure leading to shivering is not the most effective way to activate and grow your brown fat. In fact, the body prioritizes shivering when faced with sudden, severe cold, essentially diverting resources from more efficient, long-term metabolic adaptations. So while you're focused on the visible shuddering, your body is effectively bypassing its more potent, non-shivering metabolic pathways. It's a survival mechanism, yes, but not the metabolic cheat code you've been led to believe. Now, let's pivot to something even more counterintuitive, something that could be actively undermining your hard-won progress in the gym. You finish a grueling workout, your muscles are fatigued, your body feels warm and pumped, and you probably have a mental image of microscopic damage being repaired, growing back stronger. What's the go-to recovery ritual for many athletes and fitness enthusiasts? The ice bath, the immediate cold plunge. The belief is that it reduces inflammation, speeds recovery, and ultimately accelerates muscle growth. But what if I told you that in your pursuit of faster gains, you're actually pouring cold water on the very biological processes that drive muscle hypertrophy? Think about it from your body's perspective. When you lift weights, you create a controlled stress. This stress isn't just breakdown, it's a powerful signal. It triggers a cascade of inflammatory responses, enzyme activities, and signaling pathways, most notably the mTOR pathway, that are absolutely essential for muscle protein synthesis and repair. This post-exercise inflammation, often perceived as bad, is actually a critical messenger, telling your body to rebuild and adapt, to lay down new muscle tissue stronger than before. It's the architect of your gains. But what happens when you introduce extreme cold immediately into this finely tuned anabolic process? Researchers, including a prominent study by Roberts and colleagues published in the Journal of Physiology in 2015, have extensively explored this. Their findings were a scientific wake-up call. They demonstrated that while immediate cold water immersion might reduce delayed onset muscle soreness, Dolmans VUS, that familiar post-workout ache, it does so by blunting the very inflammatory signals necessary for long-term adaptation. Subjects who used cold water immersion immediately after resistance training showed significantly reduced activation of the mTOR pathway, leading to a measurable decrease in muscle protein synthesis and blunted gains in muscle mass and strength over time. This is a fundamental reframe. You thought you were optimizing recovery, but you were actually hitting the brakes on growth. It's like planting a seed and then immediately putting it in a freezer, hoping it will sprout faster. The cold suppresses the necessary warmth and metabolic activity required for the delicate cellular machinery to rebuild and proliferate. So while that initial ice bath might make you feel momentarily refreshed, you're trading short-term comfort for long-term physiological compromise. This isn't just an abstract scientific concept. It directly impacts every repetition you push, every set you complete, and every ounce of effort you invest in your fitness journey. Your hard work deserves to be optimized, not accidentally undermined. So, armed with this deeper understanding, how can you practically integrate cold exposure into your life in a way that actually supports your goals, rather than working against them? There are 3 key shifts you can make today. First, if your aim is genuine metabolic enhancement through non-shivering thermogenesis and brown fat activation, shift your focus from acute, painful cold plunges to consistent, moderate exposure. Instead of an ice bath after every workout, consider slightly cooler ambient temperatures in your home or office. Try ending your showers with 30 to 60 seconds of cool but not frigid water. Do this consistently, daily, or several times a week, ensuring you're not violently shivering but rather experiencing a mild, sustained chill. This provides the gentle signal your body needs to gradually increase its brown fat stores and improve its metabolic efficiency without hijacking other critical processes. It's a long game, not an immediate shock. Second, when it comes to post-workout recovery and muscle growth, embrace the natural, beneficial inflammatory process. Delay any significant cold exposure for at least several hours, if not an entire day, after your resistance training sessions. Instead, immediately after your workout, prioritize nutrient timing with protein and carbohydrates, ensuring adequate sleep and gentle active recovery like walking or stretching. If you truly enjoy cold exposure for mental resilience or general well-being, separate it from your lifting sessions. For example, take your cold shower in the morning on a non-training day, or perhaps later in the evening, well after your muscles have had time to begin their repair process unimpeded. This distinction is vital for maximizing your body's adaptive responses. And third, reframe cold exposure as a tool for resilience and mindful presence, not primarily a metabolic or muscle-building hack. The mental fortitude required to endure cold, the focus on your breath, and the subsequent rush of alertness can be powerful psychological benefits. Use it strategically for these aspects, appreciating it as a hormetic stressor that can build mental toughness and improve mood, but do so with the clear understanding that its physiological returns for metabolism and hypertrophy are not what the wellness industry often promises. When you approach it this way, you're using cold intelligently, respecting your body's intricate biology and harnessing its true power without falling prey to overhyped claims. You are no longer someone blindly chasing a trendy wellness hack, enduring discomfort for benefits that simply aren't there. You are now an informed architect of your own well-being, empowered with the nuanced understanding of how your body truly responds to cold. You see the intricate dance between stress and adaptation, the delicate balance required for growth, and you understand that optimal health isn't about more suffering or bigger shocks, but about intelligent, science-backed strategies. You now possess the clarity to integrate cold therapy into your life with purpose, leveraging its genuine benefits while safeguarding your body's most crucial recovery and metabolic pathways. This deep dive into cold exposure is just the beginning. There are so many more layers to peel back, so many more industry narratives waiting to be scrutinized against the backdrop of hard science. Join us again as we continue to illuminate the precise mechanisms that truly govern your health, pulling back the curtain on another ubiquitous health practice that has been widely misunderstood for decades.